Hi. So, I don't even really know where to start with this. I was planning on doing a video that was on like self-acceptance, being yourself, confidence, and like dealing with negative attention and stuff. But I'm gonna do two separate videos, I think. One is about like the negativity and things, and one is just in general, kind of just being yourself. I did have a comment requesting any kind of advice I would give for one of my subscribers' girlfriends. So I'm kind of flattered that they would ask me, but I really don't know where to start. I think I've talked about before my kind of thing growing up. I was always into kind of darker-y type things and vampires and stuff like that, and then kind of found that I liked dressing in black. For a while I went through the usual kind of phase when I was 11, and then in and out of gothic culture and stuff when I was a teenager. My mum always supported it, and even now when I get dodgy looks, she kind of like wraps her arm around me and goes yes, and kind of like stares at them, and I'm like, Mum, just leave it. I'm trying to think. On being yourself, I found a lot when I was a teenager that I tried so hard for to be like everybody else, and it got me nowhere, and I didn't really have that many friends. I had a group of friends, but not really that many. Not that quantity counts, it's more quality of friendships. But then when I decided to just be me and act how I act and dress how I dress and just embrace everything that I'm interested in, I, without sounding too big-headed, became quite popular, and I still am. I'm talking about in my early 20s this happened. I just kind of got to a point where I was like, I'm not going to try to please everybody anymore, to hell with you. In my attire and the way that I dressed and presented myself and body modifications and my general aesthetics and lifestyle way. It wasn't until recently, till I had just turned 30, well actually midway through being 30 I think, and I'm almost 31. I'll be 31 on the 14th. I came to a realisation where I didn't want to spend the rest of my life living the way that I did, because I lived for everybody else. The only person that affects my decisions now, the only person who I work around now is my daughter, and to an extent my partner, obviously, but first and foremost, the only person that I work around is my daughter. And the decisions that I make in my life and the way that I appear and the cultures that I embrace and the things that I am interested in are part of who I am. And I have wasted 30 years of my life trying to please everybody else in my actions, and I wasted almost 22 years of my life trying to not upset anybody by what I am, outwardly, appearance-wise. So the appearance and the aesthetics thing happened in my early 20s, but in my early 20s I did get a lot of people giving me looks. I still get it, but it's been a decade now where people have been giving me funny looks and questioning me about my makeup, about my hair, about the things hanging out my ear, about the shaved bit in my head, the spike in my lip, my tattoos, different things, and you get used to it. one thing I would say is that anybody who wants it to say anything negative towards you, then that's their problem. The way that you deal with it is yours. I'm listening because my food's coming. We're having Chinese. I'm trying to do it in a general kind of way because there's a lot of things about myself that I still don't like. Like I've said before, I have bingo wings, my jowls, and I don't have the flat stuffed tummies. But that's up to me to change that. But I think that the more specific thing about being gothy and alternative and looking a bit out of the norm kind of thing is what was being asked. When I was in my early 20s, I just decided I'm not going to dress like everybody else. I'm just going to dress how I want to dress. When I started, you do, well, I found that I kind of got my back up a lot at people looking at me. Nowadays I understand that people will look at other people if they think they are interesting, if they think they're pretty, if they think that they're just a little bit wacky and out there, or if they look at you in fear because they don't understand what's going on and they'll be like, oh my god, freak. Then that is their problem, it's not your problem. And you only get one shot at life. What do you want to do? Do you want to be on your deathbed and think, oh, I really wish I'd had the balls to wear that, or I really wish I had done what I wanted to do? Or do you want to be on your deathbed and go, hell yeah, I had a great ride and I was true to myself? It is hard sometimes, especially when there's people around you who think that you're all of a sudden changed. I didn't really get that from my friends because my friends had seen how I was, and I was always kind of into dark things and kind of in and out of the aesthetic of everything, and I had always voiced an interest in these kind of things since I was like 3. I saw punk when I was 3. I'm talking about the early 80s. When I was 3, I saw a punk when I was in Edinburgh, and I fell in love with him. I thought that he was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen, ever. And he had a green mohawk. He was gorgeous. And that just kind of stayed in my head as a vision of what is beautiful. We all have different ideas of what is beautiful and different ideas of what's aesthetically pleasing. I think that what I aspire to look like in my own style, which changes as I get older, and different things that I get interested in influence me slightly, and like maybe old films that I see, or just depending on how my mood is, my appearance changes, and it goes from, I was quite Victoriana goth, and for a while I looked quite kind of punky goth, and then I changed again and I was sort of like a rock tech type thing going on. Right now a lot of my friends keep telling me I look like Elvira, which is fine with me because I love Elvira. How to just be yourself. Just do it is the only advice I can give you. As people will be negative towards you. Some people will like you, some people won't like you. Some people will be afraid of you because they don't understand what you're doing. Some people are quite negative towards any kind of alternative culture anyway, because they are quite ignorant towards everything that the whole thing stands for. A lot of misrepresentations about us being all kind of ready to shoot schools up and sacrifice goats, and we're all Satan worshippers and promiscuous and want to be in a band and jobless and we smell funny and stuff like that. You know, it's gonna happen. I really did find though that when I stopped trying and just did what made me happy and did my makeup how I thought was pretty, and stopped giving a shit really about everybody else's opinion on me, then I became a lot more popular because people actually saw the real me, and they liked the real me better than they liked this kind of fake person who was trying so hard to fit in with everything. I don't even try to fit in with gothic culture because I only know a couple of goths around here and some online. Most of my friends are kind of metalheads, or I know a couple of punks. Most of them are metalheads, really. And I mix with everybody, really. Nowadays I find that I get a lot of compliments because I don't have such a standoffish demeanour. Because when I was younger I used to be, why are you looking at me? And I had that kind of attitude, that kind of, you're an arsehole for staring at me. They're not an arsehole for staring at me. They're either looking at me through ignorance because they don't know what I am and what this is about, and they just look at me because it's weird, it's different to them, which is fair enough. Sometimes they're staring at you because they think you're hot. And I get that a lot, and that's going to sound really, really big-headed, but I get that a lot, especially from, like, guys in, like, their mid-20s and older. You find that a lot of old women, well, not old, but older women, like elderly women, will come over and they'll say, I love your look. Or I go to my daughter's nursery and there'll be women who are, like, maybe in their 40s, 50s, 60s, who come over to me and they're like, oh, I love everything about how you look, you're always so pretty, and I wish that I could wear that, but I'm too old for it, which is nonsense. It's nonsense. There's no age limit on being what you want to be, looking how you want to look. But I generally get compliments. I was standing in a bus shelter the other week there, and this guy come walking over to me. He had a piece of paper in his hand, and I was standing in the bus shelter and waiting on the bus coming, and I thought that he was coming over to ask me about a bus time or if a bus had been. And he walked over to me and he was all smiles, and he said to me, he walks over to me and he said, hi, he went, excuse me, and I looked at him and I was like, oh, hi, and he said, totally smiling at me, beaming, and he looked at me and he went, I just wanted to tell you that you look great. And I was like, oh, thank you. And he walked away from me and he kept smiling at me. And this guy was maybe about late 20s, early 30s, about my age. And he looked like just a normal average person. He was quite attractive. He had short hair. He was about 5'8", 5'9", wearing a baby blue t-shirt and blue jeans. And he walked over to me and said to me, I just wanted to tell you, you look great. I go to my daughter's nursery and I get so many compliments from mums and from teachers, and the kids are always interested in what I'm wearing and the spiky boots that I wear. Look, you can see my spikes. The spikes on the back. The kids are always interested in how I look and why there's a spike in my lip and why I have spiky boots, and I'd be sitting on a bus and people will be like, oh, I really like that thing in your ear, it's really cool, how did you get it in there? And they ask if it hurts and they ask how you do it, and a lot of people generally just want to know things about you because you are a little bit peculiar and a little bit out there, and they just want to know why. They don't really understand. So a lot of the time when people are going to be staring at you, they really are just intrigued by you. You are going to get a lot of shitbags out there. You're going to get a lot of arseholes who want to just be mean towards you. It happened to me the other day on the bus as well. I was on the bus and there was this family sitting up the back who weren't particularly savoury characters. I mean, I walked on the bus and I had my daughter with me. There was other children on the bus and they were sitting up the bus and they were being loud and they were being obnoxious and they were saying some things that I personally feel shouldn't be said in front of children, and they were just being vile people. And from the instant that I got on the bus I was like, oh god, just shut up. But they sat up the bus and then they were making comments about lots of general people, and then obviously I'm there and I don't live in a place where there's an awful lot of people who look like me. So I was on the bus and I was like, I was an easy target. So they started making comments about, oh, I don't like all these fucking goths around here, what's with all these fucking goths, and making comments, like waiting on me turning around, starting something with them. But I just didn't even dignify them with turning my head or anything. Just don't dignify ignorance with any kind of response. I tend to, if somebody is being negative towards me, I tend to just ignore them or walk away from it. If you feel that you're going to be in danger, just go somewhere where you're going to be safe, or know that you can handle yourself, and if somebody lifts their hands to you, just floor the fucker. I'm not advocating violence in the slightest, but I totally advocate self-defense. But in any other kind of situation, if people want to walk past you and shout things at you, let them. Fair enough. That's their problem, not yours. I really don't know what to say about being yourself. I just kind of got to a place in my life where I was just like, just really don't care. It's my life and I'm going to look how I want to look. I'm going to dress how I want to dress. I'm going to act how I want to act. And if you don't like it, get the fuck off my ride. People who like you will just like you and accept you for who you are and what you stand for. And if they don't like who you are, then why are they in your life anyway? Let them go. What would you rather do? Would you rather be fake and try to pretend and fit in? Or would you rather just make yourself happy? Because the happier that you are, the happier people around you are going to be. And then you're not going to have any fake friends. As for the confidence thing, I've touched on this before, a lot of mine is bravado, but as I got older I kind of like accept a lot of things about myself, accept who I am and how I look, and I'm quite vain, I'm very vain, and I'll sit and look at myself in the mirror and go, you know what, I'm actually not that bad, and I have a lot to be thankful for. I'm quite popular, I have a lot of friends, I have a wonderful boyfriend, I have a gorgeous daughter who gets compliments on the way that she is always turned out, her attire, and how tidy that she is, and how well behaved she is, and how articulate she is, which is a compliment to me as a mother, and a compliment to her as a fantastic child as well. I get a lot of compliments on the way that I look, my general aesthetic, with or without the gothy makeup on, because it doesn't matter whether I have the makeup on or not, I still am what I am. I get a lot of compliments on the clothes that I wear, on my makeup, on my hair, which is really bad just now, because look, there's my hair. This is the stuff I bought. On like my shaved bits, on my beard and wonderful things that people are attracted to and find interesting. I do think that the more you deny what you are, the less happy you're going to be in yourself, which then affects any kind of relationships that you do have with other people, friendship wise, romantically, and even getting jobs and things. I have so many people who have said, oh, the way that you look will hinder you in life. The way that I look actually has progressed everything that I do in my life. I have never had a problem getting a job. Even before I was self-employed, I never once had a problem getting a job, and I went to job interviews looking like this. I have never toned it down for anybody, never, not even a job interview. I'm college educated, I'm university educated, I'm self-educated, I finished high school. I actually did an extra year of high school, because here you only need to be in high school until you're 16. You can stay on until you're 18, but I left when I was 17. And then I went to college and I studied several different things in business and in art and in fashion. And I worked in a video game store for 6 years. I worked in a call centre. I worked for a little while I worked in British Home Stores. I hated it. And I still didn't tone any of this down for anybody. I still wore my makeup like this in British Home Stores. And I just wore black trousers and a white shirt as is required by uniform. Some of my tattoos did shine through my white shirt. I couldn't do anything about it because they're there. And I have tattoos in the back of my hand as well, so, and if I wasn't buttoned up to here you could see a bit of a wing. But if I made myself approachable, and I always try to be as articulate as possible and as friendly as possible and as approachable as possible, so that in any job that I've had, and especially in a customer service environment, that I am approachable and people feel that they can talk to me and I can be personable and relate back to them. So then I try to do that as much as possible in day-to-day life. There will be days where you'll catch me off guard and I'm really not in the fucking mood for you. In day-to-day life, especially if somebody wants to just come over and stare at me, or somebody just wants to be rude or point or say something nasty. I am a human being and I will say something back, or I will just kind of, my usual is if people stare at me, I stare back at them and I just wait. I'm like, okay, I'm just doing to you what you're doing to me. You're making me feel uncomfortable. Am I making you feel uncomfortable yet? And either wait for them to say something positive, or wait for them to say something negative, or wait for them to just look away. A lot of the time when they are staring at you, sometimes they don't realise they're doing it. They're just like, oh my god, that's so cool, wow. And then other times they're looking at you going, what the fuck? Really? Seriously? Is she fucking wearing that? And sometimes they are being nasty. Sometimes people will be nasty, but you're going to encounter that in life in any kind of way that you look, your appearance. You walk past somebody and somebody doesn't fucking like you. You're too fat, you're too tall, you've got the wrong colour eyes, you've got something. You're too skinny, your boobs aren't big enough, your boobs are too big, your arse is too big, your arse is too small. In every single walk of life, you are not going to please everybody. Somebody is going to say something negative to you regardless. So just be who you are. Fuck anybody who wants to be an arsehole towards you. Fuck them. Just don't let it affect you in the slightest. Just go, it's your problem, and let it go. Just be the best person that you can be. Try and better yourself as a person, and try and be as approachable as possible. Try and be as friendly as possible, as nice as possible. Take the bloody moral high ground when somebody wants to be a prick towards you. Walk away from confrontations. Just don't worry about it. The choice is up to you. I always say, which does get some people's backs up when I do say it, but I always say that being goth or any kind of alternative culture, but personally, my experience, being goth is like, to me, like being gay. You don't get that choice. That's what you are on the inside. But the choice that you do get is whether you live your life as that thing. You can deny being gay the rest of your days, and you can get married and have kids, and then on your deathbed go, I really never got the chance to fall in love with anybody because I was too busy trying to keep everybody else happy. Because that will get a lot of people's backs up if you turn around and say that you're gay. Especially people's parents and stuff, because they have this idea in their head about all these like kind of marriages and kids and stuff, right? Same as when you're, in my experience, if you're goth, you're going to get a lot of people's backs up. The way that you look, the way that you appear, the way that you act, the things that you're interested in will cause some kind of negativity towards you. But it's going to happen regardless. In some different aspects of your life, it's going to happen. You're going to get negative responses from people. Just be the nicest person you can be, the best person that you can be. Don't be a fucking walkover though. You can be nice and not put up with people's bullshit. That was my mum shouting. But if you just be the best person that you can be, and then people will still find you approachable, personable, nice, they want to be your friend, they want to be around you, whether you're caked in black eyeliner or not. If you make yourself happy first, then other people around you will be more happy and want to be around you because you're a positive person, I think. I hope that kind of helped. I hope it helped not just gothy people, but like anybody else. Just be who you are and live your life for yourself without being an arsehole towards others. And if others want to be an arsehole, let them. That's their problem, not yours. Anybody else's. What anybody thinks about you is not your business. Unless they want to vocalise it across the street at you, then just let them. Water off a duck's back. Who cares? Does it really matter in the grand scale of things? No. Does your happiness matter in the grand scale of things? Yes. So, yeah, that's what I think. That's pretty much my imparted wisdom. Hopefully. I hope that's been some kind of help. If I think of anything else, I'll maybe like write it below or something, but I'm going to go and get my dinner now because my Chinese is here, which is going to help my fat tummy and my big wings. See you later. Bye bye.